Have you ever wanted to expand your prepper's library so you have more books and knowledge available to you at any time? But we both know that having a large assortment of books on a variety of topics can be expensive, it can be time consuming finding them, and it can also be an issue of storage and being able to take them with you if you go out of town. Well, I've got a solution for you. Thumb drives and an SD card. These two items right here have a plethora of knowledge on them, and you can take it with you anywhere. We're going to talk about these coming up next on Minuteman Preparedness. Hey, so welcome back to Minuteman Preparedness. So, as I said in the intro there, we've got a plethora of knowledge on these two items. So, real quick, I purchased these off of eBay, and I'll give you the seller's information in a little bit. There's several different sellers that offer something like this, and the reason I wanted to go this route, on top of having all the books that I have, is that I have a lot more right here. Now, you'll look at this and be like, okay, well, I'm gonna need a computer or something like that to access this information. And yes, that is true. And I'll get into that in a moment. But with these two items here, I'm gonna slide over here to my computer so I can make sure I get all this right. So right here on this SD card, it's called the Survival Library Backup. There's over 14,000 historical books and documents stored in PDF format on this SD card. So, and I'll just give you a quick rundown of a few of the items that are stored on this. And I've went through both of these, and it's impressive the amount of information that is on these items. So with the first one here, the Prepper's Library, we have information and books and everything dealing with archery, astronomy, baking, beekeeping, boiler making, the Boy Scout, all the Boy Scout manuals back when they were the Boy Scouts, botany, canning, bridges and dams, clock making, construction, cotton, different forms of engineering, a whole bunch of different stuff on farming, fishing, food, forestry, fuels, formulas, glass making, geometry, history, equestrian stuff, journalism, laundry, law, leather making type stuff, livestock, a whole plethora of information on medical areas such as nursing, surgery, surgery 2, anesthesia, miscellaneous area here, navigation, music, NBC, pottery, radios, railroads, just shelter building, surveying, a bunch of different stuff on teaching, just a whole woodworking, just a whole plethora of information right here. Just ridiculous amount. So if anything happens and everything is gone, and I'm going to show you a means of accessing this information, you're going to have a lot of knowledge right here. And we all know that knowledge is power. So you've got that right here. And then on this thumb drive, now they may come in different formats, thumb drives, SD cards, different things like that. Some of them come actually stored on the actual little portable hard drives. Oh, and one last thing I forgot with this is that it also has the offline version of Wikipedia. So it's not updated. So this version was installed in 2024. So the web version, everything that's on Wikipedia up to the point of it being put on here is on here. So that in itself is pretty huge. But with this thumb drive here, we have something, and I didn't know what this was, but it's Project Gutenberg. So there's over 70,000 ebooks that are searchable on this thumb drive. So with these, and I don't know a whole lot about this stuff, but you use a Kiwix browser, and that is on this thumb drive. So you'll be able to access it, and the browser is on here. So what else I did, and I am not a technology or computer inclined type of person. I don't know a lot about this. So I went online and did a little bit of looking around, and also from the same seller that offered these, I picked this up. So it's just your standard Dell, but this Dell doesn't have all of the Google stuff on it. The setup in this is actually a Linux Mint setup. And when I purchased it, this has never been online. It's never been hooked up to the internet, Wi-Fi, or anything. I purchased this for the sole purpose for the utilization of these. That's it. Nothing else is done with this computer. And, you know, I didn't know a whole lot about Linux Mint and all of that type of stuff. I had to do a little looking around. I've played with it, got on here, accessed these. Everything works perfectly. But so I got these to utilize together. And so if a bad situation happens and, you know, I keep books stored in different areas, you know, some are more secure than others. If something happens and there's a natural disaster and my house blew away in a tornado, these are actually stored in a separate secure location that I'm not worried about an F5 taking these away from me, or an F6 or anything like that, whatever. These will be secure and fine, and I keep this charged up. I keep a check on it, and I also have multiple different solar setups, you know, from stationary to portable and all these different things to make sure I'm able to keep it charged. And we'll talk about that stuff in a later video. But the other issue with these is you'll look at these and the computer and be like, well, what if there was, you know, an EMP or a solar flare, some sort of a situation like that. So I keep these items and the charging cable stored in a Faraday type bag. This one is from a company called Blackout. I keep it stored in this, and then this is stored inside of a large Faraday cage. So I try to double protect it, you know, so keep this is in two forms of, you know, EMP style protection. And if something huge happens and it's able to make it through those electronic magnetic waves, are able to make it through those two shielding setups that I have for these, then it's gone. I mean, you know, like I said in the other video with the Faraday cage, there's only so much you can do. You can prepare to the best of your abilities and the best of your knowledge, and if that doesn't work, well, you tried. So, you know, I keep a nicely stocked prepper's library with everything from, you know, farming and agriculture type stuff to plants and forestry, a lot of medical books, and just, you know, basic books. And I keep these things stored, some in different places in case something happens. At least I'll have some others, you know, on topics. So having a well-stocked prepper's library is very important. Books are important. Knowledge is important. Knowledge is power. The more you know, the more you'll be able to survive and thrive in an emergency situation. But you have to break those books open. You have to read them. You have to look through them. You have to be familiar with this setup, like I wasn't, and familiarize yourself with it to where you're able to utilize it and know what you can do with it. You know, so I would implore you to work on getting some books here and there, but think about something like this. Now, I picked these up from, and I had it saved here, and now it is gone. So just bear with me for a second, and I will try to get you that information. So I picked these up on eBay, like I said, and the seller is ohiocomputersales.com. You may be able to go to a website. I picked these up, and I picked up the laptop from them. Like I said, there are other sellers on eBay that sell like items and you know, the Linux style computers, so you don't have to worry as much about hacking and things like that and tracking. But that's why I went with this setup. Never hooked it up to the internet, Wi-Fi, anything like that. But right now they were cheaper when I got them last year. But it's 150 bucks for these two things, and you know, this type of setup for the computer. He actually doesn't have any more of the Dells on his website. I believe he's got some others, but you're probably looking at around 100 bucks. These computers aren't, you know, wild and crazy with the gigs and RAM and all that jazz. They're just simple enough so you can operate, you know, these and some very basic stuff. You're not going to get on here and do a lot of wild gaming and all that type of stuff. But look into getting you some books, and look into getting something like this. Even if you don't get a laptop, pick you up something like this. Keep them in a Faraday bag like I do. You can get a smaller bag if you're just going to get something like this, and put them in a Faraday cage so you have 2 layers of protection. But you have to bear in mind, if you get these and you have them protected, you're going to need to get you a laptop. Either get you a brand new one and use your old one or something like that, but have it stored away also, you know, at least in a bare basic, you know, EMP style bag that'll knock down, you know, a little bit. Maybe it'll help you out, but double protection is always better. But think about it, and if you make the jump, go ahead and do it. It'll keep you informed. The better informed you are, the more knowledge you have, the better prepared you'll be. But with that, stay safe, have a great day, and Minuteman out.